Still ahead, we are helping you live healthier. Want to check in with Amanda, who is outside in the kitchen this morning. One, I hope you're staying warm. And Amanda, I know that you are joined by a guest who's going to help us with some fresh food options locally.
Well, you know, this stove is keeping me warm out here, but we are going to make sure that we provide people with some tips to help kickstart a healthy year. I know it's been hard after the holidays, but we have some special guests with us to show us how we can eat healthy and also eat good. That'll be coming up after the break. So we are teaming up with the Blue Zones Project on how you can be a better you. And this is something that we're going to be doing over the next several weeks. I want to bring in Kristin Murray. She's with the Blue Zones Project.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's so glad to have you here.
Glad to be here. It's a great morning for this.
Yes. So before we get started on this wonderful meal that you're going to prepare, could you tell us a little bit about the Blue Zones Project?
Absolutely. So Blue Zones is a community-wide well-being initiative aimed at transforming the places where we live, work, play, and pray so that healthy choices are easy.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Pretty simple, right?
Pretty simple.
Yeah, so another simple thing that people can do, they think it's maybe a little bit hard, but eating healthy and making sure that we have that healthy lifestyle, especially as we're starting the new year.
Absolutely. So in Blue Zones, we talk about the Power 9, and part of that is around eating wisely. So eating until you're about 80% full, right? Instead of going that full 100%, but also incorporating more plants and eating a plant-slant diet. And so today, that's what we're going to be doing while we're cooking together.
All right, so let's get started. I know that it's a brown rice Southwestern bowl or some sort of thing like that. Yeah.
It is. And so one of the things that's really interesting is as we cook, a lot of us go to the store and we get these pre-cut veggies. One of the Power 9 is about moving naturally. And so what cooking and cutting our own vegetables allows us to do is the opportunity to just get some natural movement in as we're cooking. And it also allows us to incorporate a lot of different flavors with bell peppers and onions. I always encourage people to keep a vegetable basket, a fruit and veggie basket in front of you at your home, because what will happen is you'll begin to naturally just incorporate more and more of those. So you see I just did a rough chop on some veggies, right? And then we'll just come over here and add a little bit of olive oil to our pan, right? You don't have to always use butter. It's a great oil alternative. And then you're just gonna go ahead and throw those veggies in, right?
Yeah, a lot of healthy fats in the olive oil, and these veggies they're so good for you. I see you have some onions, bell peppers. It looks like you have a zucchini as well for this bowl. So yeah, a lot of good stuff here.
It is, and the really important thing is seasoning. So my mom always says, if you're not sneezing, you're not seasoning. And so I use a little onion powder, a little garlic powder here, a little bit of pepper. And then my favorite thing is Sunshine seasonings. Half of the bread actually has a seasoning, and it doesn't have salt, which I love, and it gives a little bit of extra flavor.
And we love Tab because that's our business, right?
Yes, that's our business. We're cutting it that way because it's our business.
Yes, salt-free, yes.
And so you see I just added a little bit of Himalayan pink sea salt, and that's it. When you use herbs and spices, you don't need as much salt. And so we're just gonna go ahead and cook that up, and then we'll go ahead and get that. We have some already here pre-done for you, but we'll just go ahead and move that over once we finish sauteing it.
Yeah, and I know that, it's pretty important to make sure you don't overcook your veggies because that'll also take the nutrients out too.
Absolutely. And so while we have those going, the other thing that we talk about with Blue Zones is incorporating more beans and lentils. And so we actually have a partnership with Bush's Beans, but you can get black beans from any grocer. You can just put them in a pot, again, onion powder, garlic powder, salt and pepper, a little bay leaf, and you'll just let that sit and start to cook, and those flavors start to marry. It's so delicious.
Looking good too,
right?
And beans are full of protein, so that's another way to get that protein in, especially if you're not having meat at the time.
They are, and they also are jam-packed with fiber, which is great for your diet. And so when we talk about eating wisely, it's not about giving up meat, right? It's about, in the original Blue Zones, people ate meat about 4 times a month. And so it's just about having less of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you want to talk about how we built this bowl so people can see at home as we come to a close and show people, because it looks delicious on this phone. It's basically kind of like maybe a Chipotle bowl.
It is.
A little bit.
It is like a Chipotle bowl. And so we have some brown rice already down that we made earlier. You can also use quinoa. If you're interested in incorporating more quinoa, I always say start with brown rice, then add quinoa. And then we're gonna go ahead and add these delicious fajita veggies. One of my favorite things is to add a little bit of romaine lettuce to this. And so this brings in the conversation about our local farmers, whether it's Green Legacy Farms or it's Eartha's farm. One of the really great things is we have so much produce here locally that we can source. And so
take advantage of.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, so you're putting the lettuce here, then you're gonna cut a little bit of tomato.
Just a little bit.
And instead of the sour cream, which I love and I know a lot of folks love, you can always use a lime, which you said in the break, which I thought was very interesting.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that's tricky, right, is that we've been taught sour cream and cheese, right? But a little lime squeeze. Don't sleep on it. It's delicious.
Exactly. So they're telling us that we have to wrap up, but as we close, you can see here that Kristin is over here going to squeeze that lime over this delicious bowl. And then, adding a little bit of quinoa, like she said, will just help you start to incorporate some of those habits of eating wisely, which I think will help a lot of people who are kind of skeptical with the quinoa.
Yes,
absolutely. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And again, these tips are always available, and I know that there's a Blue Zones pledge as we go to break that you want to quickly tell people about.
Absolutely. Please feel free to join in with us at bluezonesprojectjacksonville.com/pledge so that you can begin to transform your health and well-being this year in 2024.
Absolutely. And we will be doing this every week for the next several weeks, so make sure that you stick around and join us. Well, thank you so much, Kristin.